Hello everyone, where is Sam? There she is. Hi everyone, Happy New Year 2022.
Hi.
Woohoo!
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah, this is our first Ethics First Live in 2022. How was everyone's holiday break?
It was good.
It was great. Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. And any New Year resolutions we need to know, or would you like to share?
I think more running for me. I think more exercise this year is my goal.
Very cool. Yeah, same here. More active lifestyle, more connectivity with friends and family. Even though we have this third wave of COVID now, so
Yeah.
it never seems to let us reconnect. We had to cancel a friend's 50th birthday party as well, so it's like never going, never ending. So yeah. And Susanna, what about you?
To do less, to be more focused. That's my goal for this year.
Awesome. That's a very good goal. I think I should adopt that, steal that, or do that as well. Like focus on less, but more quality work and more impact. I know we feel that we are making an impact, but yes, I think I don't know if you know this. So our Meghan Markle, she left her calendar, 6 months of her calendar blank. She said she's open to opportunities, and look where that has taken her. This is before she met Prince Harry.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, unless we leave room for opportunities and for things to happen on their own, life takes its own course. I think we are so busy that we don't let that happen. So here's to new opportunities.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So, topic for today. We are starting again our Ethics First Live series, which is food for thought for ethics first minded leaders, leaders who put ethics above profits, and those who have ethics inside, like DNA, like it's ingrained in their DNA. And today's topic of discussion is how can we build a culture of responsibility within an organization. So let's start with, why is this culture of responsibility so important? Like, what happens if there is no culture of responsibility in an organization?
I think everything that could go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
If you don't expect, or you don't set an example of responsibility, then anything can go wrong, and it's never a good idea. I mean, the possibilities are endless on what could go wrong. So I don't know where to start on that.
No, I agree. There's so much. Yeah. I think if you don't have that from the beginning, you don't have that strong sense of responsibility, I think then that's when things become, you put that at risk, as a company. So I think it's important, definitely from the start, from the bottom up. Definitely.
So when you talk about culture of responsibility, is it like the leadership team is always responsible for the bottom line, right? Reporting to the shareholders or reporting to the board of directors, like they are always held accountable, more so than the leaf level employee of the company. But here, when we talk about creating a culture of responsibility, I think we are talking about building a culture, a sense of responsibility for every member of the team, every level in the company, whether it's a leaf level or the leadership level, all the way from the bottom to the top and from the top to the bottom. Right? So that's what we are talking about here today. It's not that, some people are more accountable than others, always within a company, but when we talk about creating a culture of responsibility, it is how we can engage more people and every person to feel like they belong and they are a member of the family and they need to be responsible. So what is the topmost in one word, if you can explain culture of responsibility, topmost component for that in terms of building a strong culture of responsibility within a company, what comes to mind for you?
Ownership.
Okay. What about you, Sam? That's a good
And
one.
yeah, I think absolutely it's got to be about the responsibility coming from the mission, the values of the company, and the leaders. It's the leaders that carry that forward. And in fact, the grassroots can do that as well, but it's also about the leaders, carrying that forward. Yeah, so it's a mission and the values, and it has to run all the way through. And it's about
Yeah,
taking that responsibility. Yeah, absolutely. For the
very true.
actions.
And for me, I would say accountability, like, clear accountability, clear expectations is number one. Like one is the mission, like you both said, like the mission of the company. Everybody needs to be aligned with what they are doing and working towards that mission. But in one word, if I want to break it down, I would say accountability. Everybody needs to be accountable for their own actions within a company. And that will lead to a more responsible organization.
Absolutely.
How do you think we can achieve that accountability?
Yeah, great question. And that I think is the hardest part, right? I mean, we all know being ethical, saying the truth, doing the right thing. These are words. You can put out mission statements. You can um, say those things right in the memo, put them on a wall. But like actually building a culture of responsibility, like I was saying, and I would put it down into 5 steps.
Hmm.
I would say start with the mission. So nowadays, like even the Gen Zs and even everyone in a company believes, they are able to contribute better, I would say, if there is a clear mission driven company. And plus, they have to know that their mission and the work that they are doing is creating a positive impact in the community. It's no longer just about the title and the money, but how they are making an impact. And so the mission of the company has to be very, very clear. That's number one. Number two, there needs to be open communication, like really, really open communication between all like members of the team and even with the leadership team. Like anybody, even at the leaf level, should be able to speak up in a meeting, feel included, um, feel like they belong, and be comfortable enough to raise a flag and to say that, hey, this is wrong, or I don't agree with this, or I have another idea that I would like to be considered. Things like that. Like basically, we are only as good as, how we treat others. So unless we build a culture of inclusiveness, we are not going to be able to build a culture of responsibility.
Yeah.
I have a few more. Basically, the one that is like having a clear strategy for the entire company. Again, the strategy needs to be aligned with the mission. That would be number three. Number four would be being accountable. And so everybody needs to be clear on their expectations. So, number four, I would say, is clear expectations.
Hmm.
So, everybody in the company should know that this is what they are expected to do. This is how they are expected to behave. This is what they are expected to do.
Mm.
Um, and I will pause there, and I want to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think about these? And any more that you would like to add?
Yes, very true. I think clear expectations and the definition of what success would look like in any position has to be made clear and
Mhm.
communicated well. Because
Yes.
if you don't know what success looks like in the task that you completed, and if the goalpost is continuously being moved on, those are all not clear expectations. Those are not, strategies that are aligned with the mission of the company. So
True.
you have to have those at the very least.
Yes.
And I do believe, creating a sense of ownership for everything, for the successes as well as the failures,
Yes.
stems from that. If you know that this is what success looks like at the end of the task and you didn't meet that, then you know you failed. But then you would be able to take ownership of that.
Right.
So it all starts from the top,
Yes.
and it has to come, that has to be communicated from the top, and you
Yes.
have to lead by example.
Lead by example. Yes, exactly. Sam, would you like to add? I know we've
Uh,
covered a lot of ground, so we haven't left much for you, but yeah, please go ahead.
No, I think you've covered quite a lot, and I think to add to that, I would say that if we can build a culture of trust and transparency, particularly in the space that we focus on, which is technology, that's
Yeah.
really important as well. And trying to develop through developing trust, you then have to have an attitude of honesty and develop that through that, and be true to what your values are. You mentioned, Shilpi, that missions and values are absolutely key, and I agree with that, definitely. And also, if I could add one more to that, would be you should be comfortable to share as a team any challenges that you face, and often just ask questions about, why we do what we do, and what roadblocks are in place, what solutions are there, and that kind of thing. That kind of dialogue really helps, I think, for me, when it comes to building that responsibility. That there's a lot there, I think, to add. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a really good list.
Yeah.
Open communication is what you said. So
Yes, absolutely. And I think what you mentioned, touched upon, Sam, is basically be able to talk about challenges
yeah,
is also another step to build a strong relationship, is to celebrate failures, right?
yeah,
If we are able to, as a team, openly discuss not only what challenges we are facing, where we understanding what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are as a person, as a team, and as a company, and we can openly share that, and we celebrate failures if things don't go wrong. We communicate clearly and transparently inside as well as outside the organization, and we always strive to make things better, and yet be um,
humble.
humble and
Humble.
honest
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
to
yeah,
own our
yeah,
mistake and say, okay, we made a mistake and we are going to fix it. We are going to try and
yeah,
work towards making this better.
and strive. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Everybody, all the stakeholders really appreciate if there is openness, transparency, and honesty. People
yeah,
don't mind if we make a mistake, but if we try to sweep it under the rug, um, and it comes out later in a bigger,
yeah.
more
Yeah,
ugly way, then
yeah,
that's what people are not comfortable with.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. It's questioning what you're doing, asking those questions, and being open about the challenges and the mistakes, and also the successes, and then moving forward with that, and empowering people to feel they can do that and feel comfortable doing that in organizations. We know that from other case studies before, that organizations, particularly in the tech sector, there's been discussions in the news about what happened with Google, and at the time there were issues around disclosures of risks in AI. You have to feel comfortable being able to talk about these things and have these discussions and debates. So yeah, that's really
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the video that you shared, Sam, about the Google walkout, the
Yeah.
TEDx talk, I
Yeah.
think that was really well done. I mean,
Summarized.
everybody, yeah, it was very well summarized. Everybody
Yeah.
knows about what happened and
Yeah.
the events that happened, but how Sundar Pichai responded to that as a leader,
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of again sweeping it under the rug,
Great.
or firing the people who walked out. He acknowledged that yes, there is a problem in society and in Google, and we are going to take steps to fix it. And I also liked the third route that the video, the TEDx speaker talks about. What is the name of the speaker, Sam? Do you remember?
Yeah, this was actually from a gentleman. Let me just bear with me a second. I've actually quoted him. Just bear with me a moment.
Chris
Yeah,
White.
Bob David. I think it
It's
was
Chris
Bob
White.
David. TEDx. Yeah,
Chris
yeah.
White. Yeah. So.
Oh, Chris White. Sorry. Okay, apologies, Chris White. Yeah.
So basically, he also talks about a third leadership style that Jeff Bezos from Amazon, like everybody feels like, if there is an employee advocate and there is the leader dispute or discrepancy between the values of an employee advocate versus a leadership team, yes, taking the middle ground, middle path, a win-win situation could be helpful to both. But what if there is a situation where you can't really come to a middle ground? There is no middle path that you can come to. So what he suggests is like you have enough trust within the relationship in the company with every employee that even if they don't agree with you, you say, okay, take this leap of faith with me. And over time, let's discuss and see if this works. Like suppose Jeff says that this is my idea and right now you don't believe in it, but let's take this leap of faith together and work towards it. And in course of time, we will know if it doesn't work, then okay, I will, we can do something about that. So I like that too. Sometimes if there is no middle ground, but you're transparent enough to make your employees feel comfortable, then sometimes they are ready to take this leap of faith with you.
Yeah, because they can disagree. I think they said disagree and commit. That was it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was a really good quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do want to share another case study before we say sign off. But Susanna and Sam, if you have anything more to add to it, to the discussion that we are already having.
No, I did listen to the TED talk that Sam shared in our channel.
Yeah.
Quite quite an eye opener. Like that's how leadership should be. This is we are living in an age where you can't just fire people or hundreds of people and then you can say I can hire another 100 and
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. You have to address the issue and you have to know that there are systemic injustice in society that can creep into your company as well. But Sundar Pichai's approach and the third approach, I don't remember what the middle one was, but the third last one was about Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
That actually takes both trust and transparency. I
Yes.
mean, if you don't have transparency and if you're just asking a
Yeah.
person to take a leap of faith with you to
Yeah.
say,
Not
I
going
will
to.
work on this later on, let's move on, let's do the decision at hand, let's
Yeah.
complete the project. We will talk about it later. But if within that culture there has been no transparency and that was always an excuse to push it to the back burner, then that
And
option.
that is a problem. Yeah. And employees are well educated, right? They can take that leap of faith once, but if you don't follow through, they are not going to take that leap again. So yes, you have to deliver on that promise. And with that, I want to share. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this, but there was this very unfortunate incident that happened a few years back with the Taj Hotel in India. That was, hijacked, and there were a lot of people that were, held hostages. And the whole story, and there is a movie on it as well. I mean, it was a very unfortunate, very traumatic event for not only people who were inside the hotel trapped as hostages, but that entire period, their families and everyone. But the case study here is that not one single Taj employee left the building. There were opportunities where they could have just left to save their own lives, but they stayed on to help their customers. And so there are many case studies on how Taj has been recruiting into making such great leaders of everyday employees and such good values. And three takeaways from that I would love to share. One is that they recruited from not big cities or big colleges, but they recruited from small towns in India where the sense of culture and responsibility, culture, and respect were very prominent. Like they valued culture. And so they understood the value of culture. This is more prevalent in smaller cities in India than it is in the bigger cities of India. Second, they recruited from schools where the school administrators and teachers said that these students were more respectful and they value leadership. Like they are more respectful and they understand the value of leadership. So that is something, it's like they are respectful and they understand what leadership means. And the third is that Taj taught every employee to become champions of their customers, not champions of their own brands. And this is a differentiator because most companies talk about how you should be a great ambassador of the brand, how you should do the right thing, represent the brand well. But Taj said that you are always first the representative of our customers. So every customer who walks, and in India, like there is this, even at our home, if somebody visits us, we say, visitors are guests are our gods. Like there is a saying. So they treat even the customers who come and stay at the Taj Hotel like they are really of the highest esteemed value, and the employees are taught to treat them first. They put them first above all, even before the Taj brand itself. And I think those were the three very key differentiators into why risking their own lives came first and protecting their customers' lives came first than protecting their own. So, I mean, great example of good leadership and great responsible brand and culture, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, really nice story. Lovely. That they put themselves first, forward first to support the customers and the people that were staying at the hotel, those that were vulnerable. That takes a lot of courage and commitment and determination. And I think
So much courage. Families and kids and parents
and
and
thinking first. Yes, yeah, of customers, yeah, and taking care of that. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, yeah.
Awesome. So with that, I would love to wrap up this week's episode on how to build a culture of responsibility within a company. I hope you, everyone listening, all our viewers and listeners, got some food for thought on how to build a great culture within their organization. And we'll be back next week, next same day, same time, with yet another episode of Ethics First Live. Stay tuned. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.